The Kingpin is heading to prison. End of an era. I feel like I should celebrate. Maybe take a vacation.
I don't know, that holiday fund that we saw at the start of this thing looks like it doesn't have near a penny in it. Besides, not really many things to swing for in Barbados. But anyway, that being said and done, Big Willie is off to the big prison, and it's time for us to look at our skill tree and start paying attention to all the upgrades that we can have, get into the nitty-gritty of this thing after that really dramatic intro. As intros to games go, that thing was off the charts. But enough about that, let's have a look at our skills tree. So, you have leveled up and earned a skill point. Skill points are awarded when you gain enough experience points or XP. Complete missions and defeat enemies to gain XP and earn more skill points. So here we have Innovator, Defender, and Webslinger. Innovator is kind of a... it's not a very precise term, but the way I look at it is Innovator is more of your offensive attacks. Defender, as the name suggests, is more defensive, and Webslinging is more of your aerial type stuff. Not always to do with combat, like a lot of this stuff is you can do tricks in the air, you can do a jump up after you do a roll, so a lot of the Webslinger stuff is to do with traversing through the city, but that's not also the case. You've also got air yanks when you're in combat, and swing kicks now knock over shielded enemies, so it's a mixture, but for the most part it's your aerial attacks, for the most part. As I said, these are very open categories, they aren't all defensive, all attacks, it's just how I tend to look at it. So I've got 6 points, so I'm going to put 1 into each of these, so now I can web throw enemies. I'm going to put 1 into the perfect dodge. That's something that comes in very, very handy. Every time I dodge now, at the perfect time, I stick a big ball of web fluid in their face. And Web Slinger, I'm going to do that, so now I can swing kick people in combat. I actually quite enjoy that one. I use it quite a bit. So I've got 3 points. There's quite a few things I can put in. Web Slinger is stuff I normally leave until later on in the game, if I'm being completely honest. It's they're fun stuff, but they're not stuff that are essential. As my strategy always tends to be, a good offense is a good defense. If you can always come back and hit somebody later, or hit them 1,000 times, but if you're dead, you're done. So I tend to put stuff in Defender first. However, having just said that, the first things I'm actually going to put into is Pistol and Baton Yank. If you hold Y, you can grab a pistol out of an enemy's hands. It's something that comes in very handy for me, because I find my biggest downfall is people shooting me. Especially it breaks the flow of your combo. And with that, with my last 2 points, I'm also going to do the rifle, shield, and launcher yank. So now any enemies, any shielded or armed enemies, I can now rip the gun out of their hand. It's I don't know. I know my weaknesses, and it's guns. So that's the first 2 I'm going to do, so I can eliminate that threat from the enemy's hands. And then I'll probably go into some defensive and some web slinging a little bit later on. Although in saying that, Extended Perch Takedown will probably be my next one. You only have to upgrade this once, so I tend to find upgrading it right at the start, and you know you're just good for the rest of the game. But yeah, we'll look at a lot of these later on in the game when we're coming to unlock them. So we haven't got our missions yet. Here is the character bios. Normally I say, oh, I'll pause the video and you can give them a read if you want, but I'm going to give them a read, just because this Spider universe is a little bit different from the one that you may know and love from the comics or from the films, or it's put its own twist. It's taken the characters we know and love and changed their stories just a little bit. It was everything I loved about the Ultimate Universe in the comics, was the fact that they took the characters you knew and they changed it. And that's what I love about this. They haven't changed it an extreme amount to where it's stupid, but just enough that it's really cool and you don't necessarily see what's coming. So for this game, I'm actually going to sit here and read the bios for you. Hey, what can I say? Once a character's introduced, you don't have to worry about me reading it again. So anyway, just your friendly neighborhood, yada yada yada. Can you believe it's been 8 years since you were bit by that radioactive spider, Peter? No, Peter, I cannot. Feels just like yesterday. I was geeking out the AV club with Harry, dreaming about college and moving into the city. Back then, my biggest concern was avoiding Flash Thompson at lunch. Or Flash Thompson, apparently. I've turned into Sean Connery. Now, well, things have gotten a few clicks more complicated. We've found out Spidey's identity. It's not Peter Parker, it's Sean Connery. Powers and abilities can adhere to most surfaces, we know all this. Superhuman strength can lift up to 10 tons, exceptional agility. Web shooters allow rapid travel from point to point. Spider sense acts as an early warning threat detection, enabling the avoidance of most injuries if I can press the dodge button in time. Really good sense of humor, like really good. Yeah, I'll agree with that. And then we have Yuri Watanabe, and this is one of the things I was hinting at the start. I love how they've used quote-unquote newer characters in this, and I know Watanabe isn't necessarily a very new character. She's been around, God, like probably for a decade or so. But in all the films and the TV shows, they always use the old people, the Green Goblins, the Lizards, the Vultures, the Doc Ocks, like, and not there's anything wrong with using them. They're iconic characters for a reason, but they always tend to forget about the new characters that have been introduced in the last 5-10 years, and they never get any limelight. And I loved the fact that characters like Watanabe and other characters that are going to be introduced later on in this game, some fairly new, some very new. And it's just great to finally see some new characters actually getting the spotlight they deserve. Just because they're not old doesn't mean they're not incredibly good. But anyway, the bio, my best and let's face it, only friend on the police force. Sure, she's sarcastic, cranky, and sometimes wants to kill me, but it comes from a place of love. Fun fact, in her second year on the force, Yuri was sent to negotiate a hostage situation in Hell's Kitchen. After 3 hours of talking, she ended it by body slamming the suspect, knocking him out. When asked why she broke protocol, she said, "He annoyed me." Powers and abilities, why skilled at both hand-to-hand combat, as we've seen by previously said body slam, and down and dirty police work, she has lately transitioned into a managerial role. A large swath of the police force looks for her for guidance. Cool under pressure and uniquely focused, a little shakes her confidence. And that is why she is Spidey's bestest bud in the whole wide world. As you can see under aliases, best bud. And here is just the move list. It's every single move that Spider-Man has in his repertoire so far. You also see the DLC tab in the corner there, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. Don't want to jump the gun, don't want to drop any spoilers on you, so. But with that being said, Fisk is put away. New York is our playground. New York has just got a little bit safer. And, oh yeah, I think it's time to get to work. As you just saw there, you can hold L2 and R2 and do a little zip point jump.
Parker, where are you? The committee will be here soon. We need to run an equipment check.
I'm almost there. Blocks away.
Guess I'll just do it myself.
No, don't. It's not safe. Gotta love Doc's enthusiasm, but sometimes it gets him into trouble. Better get there before he hurts himself.
Standard procedure in the life of Spider-Man, or at least the life of Peter Parker. You put out one fire and another fire crops up right in its place. Standard procedure. But just going back to some of the basics, because obviously some of you guys might have played this game a bunch, but everyone has different skill levels. So you want to hold R2 to swing, let go of R2 to stop the web swing, and then lather, rinse, repeat. You can do X at the end, which I personally find is essential to do a jump. It really helps you speed through the city. You can press X to do another web zip. It just helps you get to those locations that you might not just be able to get to in time. Like that. And if you hold L2 and R2, you can web zip to a point and then press X to jump off of that point. And that's pretty much your basics of webbing through the city. I know most of that's self-explanatory, but as I say, some people might know exactly how to play these sort of games. Other people might be brand new. So I just want to explain everything just so everyone knows what's going on. But let's get to work before Peter's mystery boss hurts himself.
I'm sorry I'm late. Oh. You started without me.
The grant committee's director will be here soon. It's fine, Parker. I invented this equipment. I think I can handle it.
Power damper. Oh, man. Maybe we should abort.
Not yet.
Hold on! Dr. Octavius, are you okay?
Another setback. But we're close.
Is anyone hurt?
No, it was all my fault.
The energy levels exceeded our expectations. From a certain viewpoint, that's a very positive development.
It doesn't smell very positive.
You don't smell
I
very
assure you, in the
positive.
next phase.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Is there somewhere else we can discuss this?
Maybe you should take the rest of the day off, Peter. But we'll talk later.
That was a disaster. How could the dampener have failed? I know Doc said take the day off, but I have to figure out what went wrong.
Dr. Octavius is Peter Parker's boss. Dun dun dun. My God, what have we here? But as I said, this game it's a different Spider-Man universe than you know, and they tweak things just a little way. And I won't say anything, but this, as I said, this game just feels alive. The city streets and the characters just feel alive, like they've been living this life before we even started playing this. And I won't say anything, but the way the story goes, it's just incredible, and it really makes you feel for every character you meet. But anyway, let's see what went wrong. Let's check out this prosthetic arm while Dr. Octavius is having his ear chewed off.
Ooh, you are in bad shape, little guy.
Doctor, what have you been using this arm for? You dirty, dirty boy. Get your mind out the gutter, Parker.
See what's wrong with you.
You're a scientist, damn it.
Circuit burned out. Damn it. If I had been here to do the pre-check, I would have caught this.
Okie pokey, so the power control for the arm is damaged. Create a connection between the green start piece and the orange end piece. So basically, as you go along through the game, you're going to have these little connection circuit puzzles, and there's also another puzzle that I'll be showing you a bit shortly. And it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just like one of those complete the pathway kind of deals. As you see in the top left in the inventory, you've got different pieces. You've got corner pieces, you've got straight pieces, and they have a number next to them that signifies how many of those pieces you have. So you basically have to look through the puzzle, see what's there, see what path's available, and how you can connect from the green bit to the orange bit. And it gets more difficult as time goes on. These bits here, as you can see, are locked pieces, so you can't move them. And you get some pieces like this one here where they have arrows, which signify the circuit can only go one way. So let's place these places. The first one is obviously pretty simple, but it's done like that through design because it's the first one you're doing, just to teach you how to complete the circuit.
Okay, need to reroute servo control.
Some circuit pieces only allow connections from specific directions, not from the Pacific Ocean. So as you can see, this one can only go from right to left as signified by the arrows, and there's a lock symbol, so we can't remove these pieces, which means I'm going to have to go round here to get to the orange bit. And as you can see in the top left as well, some of the pieces we place also have certain directions. So the way I normally tend to do this is I'll use the limitation pieces first, and you see we have the third one down can be used in any direction, a corner piece. So what I'll use is I'll use the limitation ones first, get them out of the way, get them used, and then when I absolutely run out of them, then I use the multiple direction ones. I just find it's better. It stops you placing all the pieces down and then running out of it basically opens up the board. If you get rid of the ones that have limitations, all you've got is the free ones left to use. That was a less complicated way of explaining that.
Nice. Okay, what next? And now rebalance the voltage.
In order to set the power voltage control, you must also meet its charge requirement. Some circuit pieces provide a positive or negative charge. So yep, you've got the green ones here that provide the positive, and you get the red one here that is the negative. The target voltage we need is 3. So because there's a negative 1 there, if we look in the inventory to the left, it is -1. So if we take, I always tend to make the math equation first and then put in the puzzle pieces at the end. So because of the -1, we're actually looking for a target voltage of 4 in total. So let's put in the minus, and what we need is originally 3, but because of the minus we need 4. So we'll put +2, +2, 3 plus the -1, and we are sorted. Look at that, math with Captain Dave.
Finished.
Move over, Bill Nye.
Let's see if that worked. Good as new.
Oh, the things you could do with this, Dr. Octavius, eh, you kinky little bugger. Oh, and there goes the ad revenue for this video. Not deemed family friendly. Anyway, fix the arm, let's move on out.
Doc's been testing new materials for the prosthetics. He asked me to review his work if I had time. May as well dig in now.
Yeah, it looks like Octavius is going to be in there for a while, so... And this is the other puzzle I was talking about, the Spectrograph puzzle.
Doc was testing a new contact material for the prosthetic.
Your goal is to identify the unknown substance by its absorption spectrum. Here we go, this is where I start mispronouncing words. Use fragments of the unknown substance and try to match up the absorption lines in the spectrum. Move the left analog cursor. Press X to pick up the fragment. Oh, it's an active tutorial. What's me to do it now? Okay, then. So as you see, you got these two lines here, and there's a line missing there, and there's a line missing there, which lines up perfectly with this piece. Place the fragment into the available slot and try to match up the absorption lines. Bingo. And obviously these get harder as they go along, but basically you just want to match the puzzle pieces. So this one here matches that one there perfectly. And same for this little guy we'll put down here. Perfect.
Hydrogel polymer composite. Strong, but there's a lot of impedance. Better tell Doc to keep looking for other materials. All right. I should get out of here before I screw things up for Doc even more.
Good plan, but we are not going to do that just yet. Because these spectrograph puzzles and the circuit puzzles, you gain research points for them. Let's load this one back up, actually, so you can have a little bit of a look. As it says there, this station allows you to work on spectrograph projects, earn XP and other rewards for completing projects. The more spectrograph projects you will unlock as you progress through the game. So as you can see, we've got 2 available here, and then we've got another 8 down here that are locked. Each one gains you 200 experience points, and one there gets you a research token, which I'll explain what they do later on. I cannot recommend enough doing these as soon as you can. I wouldn't bother coming back to Octavius Industries until the main quest brings you here. You can do if you want, you can keep checking back here if you really want, but the main quest will always bring you back here in time to get all of these done before the game is finished. So every time you come back here as part of a quest, always check on the circuit puzzles and always check on these spectrographs and do the ones that are available. It's just an extra 200 experience points that you can't pass up. The more experience points you get, the quicker you level up, the quicker you can upgrade your character. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. So let's get these 2 done. We'll run back over to the circuit.
What was Doc working on with this?
And we'll run back over to the circuit puzzle and we'll get that sorted too. So there's a 3-1 there. Nice and easy, these first ones. Not really much we have to think about. So stick this guy in there. And there's 200 experience points. Why would you not do it? Unless you're really stuck for time. Unless you're really stuck for time, you're a busy guy, a busy gal, and you just want to play the main story, that's fair enough. But I personally just can't pass up the 200 experience points. It's why I never complete RPGs. Fallout New Vegas.
Looks like another potential prosthetic contact material.
Some unknown substances require multiple fragments to be stacked in a column. If 2 absorption lines overlap, they combine into a thicker absorption line. So as you can see here, these 2 are thicker. That requires 1 line. These require 2 lines. So let's do this 3rd one first. Let's put this little guy here, and then we need 1 in the middle there. But as we can see, there is no middle piece on its own. If we place one like this here, then that's a red line because that one's too thick. So what it is, I don't think we need the 3-1. What we actually probably want is the middle one to be thickest. So we put that one there and that guy there. Perfect. And then when we look at that one over here, we've got a 3-1 there, and we also have a 2-1 there. So that one should be fine, unless we need one of these puzzle pieces for the last bit. Here we've got one with a gap, which gets the 2 on the right, and this guy on the left. Done.
Oh, hydrogel IPN. This looks promising. Bet it'd be a great tissue interface.
And that's all we can do for now. So we'll back out of the Spectrograph, and what we will actually do is quickly run over to the circuit projects. We'll get some more of those done. But while we're in this area, let's listen to a few audio logs, and let's just check out Octavius Industries. See where Peter Parker has been working for the last 2 years.
Peter, thank you again for doing these blind reviews. Peer review is the backbone of great science. You know, as we've prepped for the upcoming fitting, I felt an itch in the back of my brain. Is this really the best method of limb replacement? Silly, I know, but I keep thinking, might there be another way?
An itch in the back of your brain? Oh my god, no. It's begun. What has begun, you ask? Well, you can't be much of a Spider-Man fan if you you don't know what I'm talking about there. But the Octavius Industries scaling ship consumer model. Oh, he's a very smart guy. Look, he's planned it all the way up to from January to December the next year of how he's going to ship out the limb replacements. Good man, or at least he is for now. So it looks like this is their sort of makeshift kitchen area. Oh yeah, oh, this is my jam. Oh, listen to some tunes while you work. Well, I am a great fan of background music. I am normally the sort of person who listens to music in every aspect
late nights
of.
in this lab. Glad Doc keeps the snacks stocked up. We should get more of those little cheese squares, though.
Ugh, not cheese. I hate cheese. Love pizza though. And I'm gonna let you guys have a little brain meltdown after I say I hate cheese but love pizza. But hey, it is what it is. But I'm the sort of person who loves to listen to music in every aspect of my day, but I really don't fancy being popped by copyright, so I'm turning that off.
Love the coffee at work. God bless that grant money.
I don't think anybody's ever said that ever. Normally, stereotypically, whenever I've worked in my life, the coffee at work is always terrible. It's probably because I don't like coffee, but more of a tea guy myself.
I think we've got samples of every type of prosthetic in existence. Our first volunteer subject, Lance Corporal Texador. Lost his arm overseas and now just wants to hug his daughter again.
Well, looks like they're doing good work here together. Ah, and you're keeping fit and healthy as well, Doc. That's good to see. Get rid of that beer gut. CPU memory, yep, prosthetic connections. That looks like this is everything they're working on over here. It's like they've cut it out into certain sections.
Graduation. Feels so long ago. I interned for Doc in college. He made me realize I could do as much good for the world in a lab coat as I could in tights. Maybe more.
Got to say, the young Dr. Octavius kind of looks like oh god, what's that guy's name? He played the Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I forget his name. I think it's like a Russian name. I don't know. Oh no, that's probably the character, not the actor. But anyway, kind of looks like a little bit like him.
Doc's made huge breakthroughs his whole career, but he's always been upstaged, usually by Oscorp. This time, it's going to be different.
And I've got to say, like, not just looking at that, but looking at that picture and just looking around this whole room and the whole lab, and I'm going to go off on one again. They've just done such a good job of just making this whole area just look so lived in. The fact that they de-aged the people in the photos and creating the backstory and little notes by Milk. Well, I can't really see what that says. Aunt May at Feast. Hi, her Aunt May at Feast. Her Aunt May at Feast. I can't really read what that says. But yeah, they've just done such a good job. It looks like people worked in this lab. It's just, I don't know. And not just that, within the world, the pictures that are on the wall, the pictures that Peter had in his apartment, everything.
We're
It's just
trying to improve the prosthetics hardware. I should review what Doc's been developing and double-check his work.
it's little things like that. Even if you don't realize you notice them, your brain picks it up and it just makes it feel lived in. I absolutely love it. But this station allows you to work on the circuit projects and XP and other rewards for completing projects. More circuit projects will unlock as you progress through the game. Yada yada yada. See, look right here again. Another.
Doc was trying to improve the actuator's granularity.
Another 400 experience points right there. So. And as you go up here, always check the pieces that are on the board, because just because they're there doesn't mean you can't remove them. Right now, I can remove that one because it didn't have a locked symbol on it. I can place it there instead. And what it does is, shortening the circuit doesn't really necessarily make your life any better or any easier or get you more experience points. But if you are stuck completing the circuit, sometimes shortening it or removing a piece can actually help you out.
Nice. Super smooth response. See if we can tune the prosthetic's grip force.
Don't always feel like you have to follow the path that's set, because this one here, as you see, it's locked, and then you got this one here, so your gut reaction is to think you need to go like that. But that's the only locked piece. That one isn't. So you remove that, place that guy up there instead, and then just cut out the middle, man, and go that way. Doesn't get you any more experience points, but just makes your life quicker and easier. Especially if you don't really want to do them.
Should avoid bone-crushing handshakes at least.
Yeah, we don't want Doc Ock bone crushing and when he's here alone on those long dark nights. Sorry, at one point I'll stop being an immature child, probably around age 80, but... Anyway, let's get back out in the world and see what there is for Spider-Man to do. Peter Parker's done his part, let's see what else Spidey can do. I mean, he's already had a productive day taking down Fisk and the day's still young.